preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God?
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President. All the best wishes.
Affirmative action is defined as a policy that gives minorities and women greater opportunities in both employment and education. The policy of affirmative action was created and enforced in 1965 in an executive order passed by President Lyndon Johnson. In enforcing affirmative action, all government-funded educational institutions and businesses are required to set aside a set number of places for minorities, giving them greater opportunities than those presented to them before. Affirmative action has aided minority groups, such as African Americans, out of oppression, especially after the Civil Rights Movement in the 1960s. Today it is argued both that affirmative action should be abolished and that it should continue in the United States. Affirmative action should be abolished because it is an outdated solution to a problem that is no longer prevalent in society, and because it reversely discriminates against non-minorities. In states that have already banned affirmative action, such as Florida, statistics from the New York Times prove that after the ban was enacted, minority enrollment in state colleges was not affected. In fact, it increased as the population increased. This correlation between minority population and percentage of minorities enrolled in college not being affected by the ban proves it an unnecessary and ineffective solution. Many philosophers, including Mary Ann Warren, a world-renowned philosophy professor, also make the point that preferential hiring and admission into college do not make up for past wrongs done to minorities in America, and that favoring minorities in a society where they do not need to be favored in order to succeed is unnecessary. Not only is affirmative action unnecessary for minority success, but it also reversely discriminates against the non-minorities applying for the same jobs in colleges. When filling designated minority spots in college admissions, it creates the possibility for unqualified students to be accepted merely because of the minority quota colleges must fill. At UCLA, there was a difference in SAT scores between minorities and non-minorities of 235 points. At the University of Virginia, 206 points. At Stanford, 171 points, the minority scores being lower. This discrepancy between the SAT scores proves that unqualified students are being accepted to some of the nation's top schools, while other non-minority students with better qualifications are being turned away. One such non-minority is Jennifer Gratz. She applied to the University of Michigan after earning an almost perfect academic and community involvement record, and was denied over minorities with much lower test scores and grades. Minorities are being held to a much lower standard because of affirmative action. They are being favored in order to fill set minority quotas, reversely discriminating against non-minorities, when in today's society, they are able to succeed without such favoritism. Martin Luther King, the leader of the Civil Rights Movement, once proclaimed, "We need a colorblind society in order for justice to reign supreme." The United States needs to heed the words of Martin Luther King. Affirmative action stands in the way of society becoming colorblind and needs to be abolished.